Alright, today we are looking at two big players in used phone market, the iPhone 15, which you can snag for around $500, and Galaxy S23, coming in at more budget-friendly $380. But the question is the iPhone worth the extra $120, or can the S23 give you just as much for less? We will breaking it all down, design, performance, cameras and value for your money. By the end of this video you will know exactly which one is better pick for you. Let's get started. The design of these two phones are very similar in a lot of ways. Like they are both 6.1-inch devices, they are both one-handed phones. They are small in today's standards, but they do feel a bit different. Like when I pick up the Galaxy S23, its rounded out edges have a glossy finish, which makes it a bit more slippery than iPhone 15. Even though they are rounded out, they are slightly sharper than edges on iPhone 15. But both backs do a fantastic job of hiding fingerprints. But the iPhone 15 is a bit more comfortable in one hand due to the kind of more sanded or frosted off finish on the back of the device. But look, I'm splitting hairs here. Like the difference are super minor. They weigh about the same. We are talking about 168 grams compared to 171. So you are not going to see a difference there. The iPhone is slightly thicker, but look, both of these phones now have USB Type-C. If you have stereo speakers. In fact, the speakers on both of these phones sound fantastic, but I want you guys to tell me which speakers you think sound better overall. Button placement is interesting. Samsung tends to place the volume rocker above the power button on the right hand side, whereas the iPhone 15 places the power button on the right hand side, but makes it really big and then has your volume rocker on the left hand side. It's so tough to choose between these two because they excel in their own little ways. For example, the display on both of these phones are fantastic. Yes, technically the screen on iPhone 15 can reach peak brightness of 2000 nits compared to 1750 on Galaxy S23. Probably not a big difference for most people unless you're living your entire life outdoors in a very sunny environment. And the screen resolution is a bit more pixel dense on the iPhone 15, but because they are only 6.1 inches, I really can't tell the difference. Like the text on both of these phones feel very crispy. But look, the thing that bothers me about the iPhone 15, and it might not bother everyone, is the refresh rate. 60 Hz in 2025 just feels wrong. I understand the market data for Apple indicates that most people don't care, but a lot of people do. And I feel like just having that higher refresh rate truly changed the experience you get on S23 compared to iPhone. Like everything just feels faster, even though technically the chip inside of it is slower than A15 or A16 rather. It just feels better. You know, you scroll towards a web page, it's fast. You play a game, assuming the game can go about 60 frames per second, it feels faster. That refresh rate is so hard to get away from once you experience it. It really comes down to what you prefer. They both have cutouts at the top of the screen. If you have one single 12-megapixel camera on S23, you get also a 12-megapixel camera on iPhone 15, but you have more sensors for Face ID. They both can unlock the phone using your face, but visually Face ID is more secure than Samsung offers. You're better off using the built-in fingerprint scanner that comes standard with most Galaxy devices. It's super quick, it's very accurate, and whether you will physically or not, they are both do the job. But if you're buying this phone to be like some sort of a competitive mobile gamer, and you're going to running some intensive application on it, then yes, A16 is going to be a faster. It just really comes down to what you do overall. The battery life is very interesting. They both perform very well for their sizes. About 6 to 8 hours of screen on time with Galaxy S23, around 8 to 9 on iPhone 15. Even though Technically the S23 does have a bigger battery. The benefit of S23 though is that you do get a faster charging, you get a faster wireless charging, but both phones have equal reverse charging. Now, I'm not gonna dive it too deep into software experience because you already know what you're getting yourself into. iPhone is iOS, Samsung is using Android, but they're both cool in their own unique way. I feel like with Samsung you get a very beautiful experience with One UI. Plus, a lot of other extra features that are just hidden in background that a lot of power enthusiasts will appreciate, like just being able to hook up your phone to a display wirelessly or with a cable. We have a full desktop experience using DeX is really cool. And don't get me wrong, you can do more stuff now with this Type-C port, but it's nowhere near what this S23 can do. But look, these cameras take a different style of photos. Right off the bat, you're going to have more fun with the S23 because you get that extra lens. You have your 50 megapixel wide lens, you have your 10 megapixel 3x photo lens, and then you have 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. On the iPhone you have 48 megapixel wide lens. It can zoom in up to 2 times, but all it's really doing is cropping in using the 48 megapixel sensor. And then you have your 12 megapixel ultra wide lens. Look, the photos on both of these phones are great, but I think overall the iPhone did a better job. I found that iPhone tend to make photos look a bit more contrast. It was deeper darker blacks because it tended to cross the shadows. I just found the photos to be more appealing and ready to post compared to what Samsung was doing. Now, this is weird because it used to be the opposite. Samsung used to be a company that made things look super contrasty, but it's not like that anymore. In fact, I found that a lot of these photos on the Samsung phone looked more realistic compared to iPhone. Intended to be a little bit cooler compared to a warmer look that the iPhone was giving. Now, the wide lens is a bit different on both phones. The iPhone shoots at 0.5x compared to 0.6x on S23. What that means in English is that the iPhone shoots a wider shot. So if you love the ultra wide lens and you want more in your shot, you don't want to move back or forth, iPhone is going to give you that. The S23 shoots photos that are a bit softer. They tend to have a less contrast, cooler tone, like I mentioned before, but the consistency between all three lenses were very equal between all of these devices. Overall, I think in daylight the iPhone shoot better photos. In terms of 4K 30, they both shoot beautiful video, but again, I think the footage from iPhone does look better. And I also found that stabilization on iPhone performed slightly better compared to Galaxy S23. So let's get the obvious out of the way. If you're tied to a specific ecosystem, get the phone that will best match it. You're just going to have a much better experience. But if you're not tied to either ecosystem and you want to save some money and still have a great experience, I would probably go with S23. $120 is a lot of money that you can use on other stuff. You can even buy yourself a nice pair of headphones. And on top of that, if you're more of an enthusiast that can take advantage of some of these extra settings in background that most normal users don't care, the S23 is going to give you that. I think in most situations the iPhone did a better job, but these situations come down to where or not you want to pay $120 more for it. I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to how much you're using your smartphone. Like if you're tracking your email, browsing the net, it really doesn't matter which one you choose. And in fact, again, I will probably say go with S23 so you do save some money. But if you're buying this and you're planning on keeping this for like 7 years straight, 5 years straight, then yeah, you're actually better with iPhone because it's going to get more updates overall. Either way, that wraps up my comparison between both of these devices. If you have any more questions, honestly, just drop it down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next one.